All right. Hello, welcome back, intrepid experimenters. I've been doing a lot with working with cards to pull readings on different topics and so forth, and really have gotten a little bit off track off of what I intended this channel to be about, which is to explore how to use our energy faculties to assist us in living. And one of the biggest issues people have, particularly in days like this, have to do around issues of fear. And fear creates a couple of states of beings. If you hang on to fear, if you let fear, you let your reaction to fear take hold, become like a reason for or a way of analyzing things, and it falls into two camps. So if you're really let your fear be generated over your history, your past lost opportunities, perhaps your mistakes, perhaps occurrences and traumatic events, that becomes depression. That is a fear based on historical things. So we often call it fear of the past. And when people hold on to fear of something that happened in the past, a couple of things are going to happen. They're going to develop resentment. They may develop triggers, trauma triggers. And these things keep them turning their reaction either externally or internally. So depression is when you are turning that internally. If you turn it exterior and take it out on others, that becomes abuse. And then the same thing with fear of the future. We have anticipatory fear, the fear that's generated because historical things have led you to look at the future through concern and fear filters. How do I avoid this? When this could happen? It's that sort of Damocles hanging over your head. It's not falling, but because it hangs there, you spend all your time anticipating it falling rather than taking it down or moving or away from it, or just living in a way that doesn't put you in the danger of it, and then getting on with things. And that becomes anxiety. That is fear of the future turned internally. That can become extreme anxiety attacks, panic attacks, engendered panic, and that restlessness, sleeplessness, all of that stuff. If you turn that anxiety outward, again, that becomes a kind of chaotic abuse, creation of chaos, drama stuff. And actually neither of those are healthy, because we aren't born to engender fear. We're born to and exist to use fear to assist us to live. So to the extent that it no longer assists us to live, we're not supposed to hold on to it, right? That's just, fear tells you in a moment. It helps you deal with the issues of the moment. Protect yourself, get away, go to safety, warm up, get food, whatever it is that fear trigger is directing you to. But to hold on to it is a use of our energy faculties, but in an unhealthy way. We're very good at engendering energy. We can hold and create and magnify any energy that we choose. But we have to be conscious about it enough to disconnect from those energies we do not want to hold, once we've recognized them and assess them. Now, I myself dealt with severe depression for a long time, and it took me a long time to disconnect those triggers from what was prompting the fear of the past in me and allowing me to engender that as depression. And part of that was, I mean, the main of it was done through learning how to come to a stillness and meditate in myself, not as others taught me, but as I needed to. So for me, what that required to get calm was a sort of a mantra, and I just picked a really simple one that by saying it over and over in my head allowed me to sort of turn off everything I had engendered energetically and then start to look at it from that disconnected point and be able to try to address those things. So for me, particularly for depression, my question became initially, what am I feeling? Why am I feeling this? What is this feeling a reaction to? And if there was nothing going on in me personally that was any different than the day before that suddenly was creating this, then I had to allow myself to consider that I was simply picking up on exterior energies and engendering them, or I was recreating energies in myself and engendering them, and that they weren't serving a purpose. And so what could I do with that energy instead? And for me, it always came down in my meditations to realizing if I'm feeling this way, there are probably other people feeling this way in the world as well. And what would I want someone to do if they realized that I was feeling this way? And I would want them to send me love and care and support. And so I said, well, then I should send out love and care and support to everything else that might be feeling the same energy. And by doing that, I was retraining the energy that I would engender and then creating that. And that lifted me out of not only my depression for the moment, but it gave me a strategy for dealing with it in the future. Now, I have also dealt with anxiety on a much lower level. I tended to focus my fear on the past. But when I dealt with that, of course, then the same habit you will seek to apply to the future. And so I did deal with anxiety as well. And I found the same method, of course, works. You have to step back from the emotional flag to the energy enough to be able to assess the actual energy and then engender something to reverse its effect and send it out within yourself. And that is completely within your ability to summon up, call up, remember, create in terms of a feeling or an energy in yourself. So to the extent that you can experience more things that help you recreate the kind of energies you want to create, those also assist you. But even if you are entirely isolated and unable to do that, the imagination and the human faculties, the connection to the field, will let you dream of and envision things to create the energies as well, which is the extraordinary part of being a living being. So what I'd like to draw the cards on today, I'd like to do a reading to ask for people that are going through this depression now or anxiety in these times, what is a reading for them that might help them and myself as well as we deal with this to identify the energies that are being flagged up and what to engender to heal. And I think we'll use the Aquarian Tarot today, because we're in the age of Aquarius now, and we'll clarify it with the spirit animal oracles, because they give us a lovely nature connected aspect to the reading to make it full. All right, so hold on and I'll bring you down and we'll throw the cards. Okay, so I have shuffled, and just a quick reminder, this is a David Palladini deck, the Aquarian Tarot, and the Spirit Oracle is a Colette Baron Reed deck. Right? All right, so I have pre-shuffled, but we'll shuffle now and a little bit more and ask the question, what can the cards show us about how to deal with our fear, our depression, our anxiety in these times, and how to, find the energy behind the feeling that we're having, how to identify it, and what's like the best, how to create healing energies in their place. So let's see what the deck can give us on a reading for this. All right, let's start to shuffle here and see if anything falls out. It's a very old deck of mine. I need to get a new one. It's getting old and tired. What's that one, I think? So that's what we'll go with. And these are much newer deck. I've noticed with some of these decks how they print, which side they have them printed on the cardstock. Makes, which way you can shuffle them, whether right side up or down, makes a difference. I have one deck I can only really shuffle face up, which is a little bit annoying. But anyway, okay, let's see what the clarifiers have to say on this reading. Oh, by the way, my deck is almost ready for, oh, here we go, we gotta start. My deck is almost ready to sell. I'm getting my last copy with the guidebook, and we'll review it on a video. Okay, ready to go. One, okay, and this one that fell out. All right, so signifier for the reading is the Emperor. That's very appropriate. We're wanting to know, how do we master our way on earth in these times, in the exterior? Like, how do we be the emperors of our own destiny? And that is clarified by Frog Spirit. Clear out the clutter. So what this is saying is the essential, we're going to run them this way so you can see them. The essential energy that we're asking about is how to be clear, how to see the clarity of being the masters of our own destiny. That is, not being swayed by emotions, but having that control, being the directors of it. And we are challenged by the Chariot, by the way life moves. It's always a balancing. It never stops being that. That's clarified by Beaver Spirit. Lay a solid foundation. So the way to deal with the vagaries of life is to have a solid foundation in understanding how to, the movement of the chariot, so that has to do with your inner work, your self-healing, building your own physical chariot, your body. You have to lay a solid foundation for your own being. That's the start. And that's the challenge as we go through, is how to do that, repair it, maintain it. What we have control over is, the actions that we take based on our thinking. We have control over what we seek to go after, and deal with, and the actions we take, whether they be rash or just. That's in our control. So, in this question, this is how we respond to the energy of life and challenges. That's in our control. And that's clarified by grasshopper spirit. Take a leap of faith. So, how much we base our thinking and understanding on recognizing that this is a cycle, life is a cycle. That's in our control. We can control. It's up to us to choose or what we want to believe in, what we will have faith in, and how we will direct the actions from our thinking. That's our choice. Recent past affecting this is the Queen of Swords. This is the internal thinking. This is directing the internal thinking, communication. This could be recent medical treatments, surgeries, scientific developments, legal developments that affect people internally. But it could also be becoming accountable for your own thinking, that we've recently turned inward instead of outward to direct our thinking. Like, we're not just believing what other people say anymore. It's that kind of a redirection to truth. And that's as clarified by fox spirit, thinking on your feet. Yeah, we've sort of moved into an era of more critical thinking, and careful analysis and quick analysis. What we cannot control in this, the Lover's card, this is what people are committed to. This is the major agreement. So after the Chariot, or before the Chariot, before they get on the Chariot, what's the commitment? Where are you going to? So this is, in a way, this is talking about our fated path. But it's also about what people's beliefs and working with others will create, what the union will create. So that it's like there's a certain level of effect of people working together that you can never control, right? So you can put in your part, you can put in your agreement, but you can't really control the other person, and the level of agreement that they have and the commitment is going to determine that instead. And that's as clarified by flamingo spirit. Embrace the in-between. It's like between the lovers, there's always, at least there's a space. It is two separate beings, and what happens between them when they work together is a gestalt. It's unknowable. It creates a secondary, tertiary effects, multiple effects that we can't really know until they unfold. And what our intention is leading to with these things, Queen of Rods. So we've gone from Queen of Swords to Queen of Rods, from thinking to passion. So in this question that we're talking about, it's saying, when you're having these feelings of depression or anxiety, in the past you may have overthought it. What you need to look at is, what is it making you feel? What is driving that inner feeling? What is that inner passion fire that's really behind your reaction here? And that's what we need to start looking at. We cannot control how how shifting the energy alters the effect of working with other people, right? So this is the overarching energy here. What this all has to do with is how we relate to others and work with others in the life field for the benefit of the all. And so if we kind of identify within ourselves these things, these fear-based emotions that we engender, and we can shift out of them, it can have an effect on how people work together, an untold effect, something from the in-between where new creativity can be born in that, still in that change space. Very powerful. And this queen is clarified by chameleon spirit. Act as if. This is saying you got to go from the thinking to the heart. So if you're engendering depression, but you want to shift it, then engender joy, right? Act as if, just change. Just put yourself like the chameleon into a picture of joy in your mind, and then become that joy. And it's a change. The change is happening in the heart. So we identify the energy. Yes, I see what it is that's making me do this, but that's not what I want. Now I've got to engender the new energy that I want in that heart feeling. And I think that is what we're talking about here in this reading. And that's what we have to do to have agency over our emotional energy faculties regarding depression and anxiety. Where do we stand in relation to this, or how do we see ourselves? The Ace of Rods. This is about, you have to engender a new passion. You have to shift out of one, shift into a new passion, and great things can come from it. And this is clarified by Moth Spirit. Surrender. Surrender up. So whatever that energy was, that depression or that anxiety that's based in a fear, surrender that up. So a new energy, so you can create a new energy. Like, just learn how to flip it over. Say, oh, this is depression energy. Well, I know what's on the other side of that. The other side of that is compassion. And just flip it and become compassionate to yourself and to others in that moment. And just begin to see that as the flip side, right? And then you can just surrender from one to the other, from the moth to the butterfly. It's a simple flip of the light. The environment in which we sit is the Knight of Pentacles. Surround yourselves with actions, good actions for the earth. So if you are dealing with these things, but you take small actions around you for your own well-being and the well-being of all, just take those slow, steady actions. That is going to help you engender the compassion and the joy. Just take a moment. And if you're in a depression and you think the only thing I can do in this moment is eat an ice cream, fine. Eat that ice cream, and in that moment, see every bit of it as healing and nurturing your body. Turn your coping mechanisms into medicines by seeing them as healing positive actions, and take them one at a time, and they will lead you to better actions down the road, and you will be able to surrender up those things that no longer serve you. And that is clarified by the Bobcat Spirit. Life is a mystery, and this one came out reversed. Is very interesting, right? Because the mystery is reversed by the actions one on the other. They will help you unlock the mysteries of your life. Just these little steps. You don't have to know it all. You just have to know one good thing to do in this moment to heal yourself, and therefore to become possible to heal in miraculous ways for the world. Hopes and fears, the Fool. We want to try something new, especially in those moments of depression or anxiety. We want something new, and this is saying embrace that new. Flip the script in that moment. Flip the script. There's hope in that, but it's fearful. There, because it's comforting. We get comforted by our sense of victimhood or our sense of being wronged, our resentments. These are comforting to us in other times. But we have to learn to understand that the comfort they may bring us in that resentment is so toxic, and there's something else we could do with that energy in that moment. There's an opportunity we're missing, a new opportunity for an entirely new energy to unlock mystery in that moment. And we're missing that opportunity if we decide to hold to the resentment. But there is hope and fear in letting that go. And that is clarified by Turkey Spirit. Give with gratitude and grace. And that's the secret of it. It's the letting go in a sense of understanding that you're part of the life field, you're loved, you're desired, and you can just be in it. Even if that being is a moment of crossing over, it's all part of the process of life. And you are here by divine grace. We're allowed to exist and have this life. But it's also the right of divine consciousness. We're part of it. And in every moment is an opportunity to express agency over our energy, to create with our energy in every moment. What the outcome? 6 of Pentacles. Sometimes it's a karmic. This is about giving and receiving. This is being able to give and receive in well-being. It's the running of the engine of well-being. It's well-being operating efficiently to those that need. And as you create, so you are sustained as well. And that is clarified by Groundhog Spirit. Again, it's time to let go. This is about being able to both let go of all control of yourself and the world and step into full agency of the energy you're creating. It's a paradox because there is a letting go of the energies you're engendering, right? And then there's a new creation of a new energy that you also intend to engender. Engendering is not the problem. The energy we're choosing to engender is the problem. So let the one go that isn't served to accepting the ones that will serve. And the bottom of the deck, 3 of Cups. This is about a unity of energy. There's something that happens, a coming together of the energies. And when that occurs, there is a fated triad from which will continue to grow more of an energy. And so this is talking about, I think, that underlying this in the question of how do we deal with depression and anxiety. It's in a sharing of an energy. As I talked about in my opening, I turn from feeling those energies of depression or anxiety to sending out compassion or peace or acceptance, whatever it is that I've identified in that moment I'm missing. So I create it for myself and send it out to others, share it out. And this is clarified by Buffalo Spirit, and the abundant universe will provide. You know, that's a large part of the fear that people hold on to, is that they'll not have enough. Fear of not having enough. And this is saying that it's enough just to have the ability to create energy and serve the world and yourself and help and assist and create, you know, unity. I think that's really rather beautiful. All right, hold on and I'll bring it up and we'll close it out. Okay, darlings. Well, I sure appreciate you swinging by and looking at my reading. If you haven't, if you stayed till the end, I hope it gives you something. If you have any questions, leave me a comment. If you have something you'd like me to do a reading on next week, leave me a comment. I took a step back from Astra and ChatGPT for this week just because I think there's a lot of energy out there for people that's very concerning, and a lot of things happening, and I know people are taking it kind of rough. And it's not that I don't, I do. I also have these coping strategies for myself that help me lift myself out of it, and I'm hoping if I share that strategy, maybe it'll help somebody else who needs to do that as well. I promise you, you have within you as a human being all the abilities to create energies that can make your life and others that you love around you so much better, so much joyful, and it's in your hands. It's your choice. And I encourage you to always understand that no one can take that from you, ever. So I love you, and I hope I'll see you next week. All right? Take care, guys.